right, guys, here we are to talk about the movie Resident Evil 2002. We are joined by a few guests here. We got John and John. Tell them who you are and where you're from, boys.
John, you want to take this? I'm John, the host. That's Johnny Mulligans. We're from the They Said We Said channel, from the Cult of Films, where we talk about all your favorite non-mainstream movies. It's really just some weird pervy shit that I make Johnny Mulligans watch constantly. But yeah, stay tuned, because whenever this may have came out, you might have seen these two beautiful guys on there as well, talking about another video game film. So there's a little teaser for you.
Bit of a theme, one might say.
I just can't get him to fire me.
It's like we planned this.
So, guys, in a non-spoiler format, have you seen this movie? What do you think about it?
Yes, I've seen this movie.
Before this day?
Had you seen this movie?
I've seen this when like it happens. I see pieces of it on YouTube videos. I've seen the movie prior, a long time ago. And yes, and then I watched it again to make sure I was aware of it and clear on what happened and when.
I hate watch this movie because Resident Evil 2 I played way too young, and it ruined horror for me for so long. I was a tender, little John. What? And zombies scared me, so I didn't want to watch it. But then, they're like, we're going to make the movie, and it's, 2002. I think I was like 18 years old when this film came out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking done with being scared about this shit. And then I went in and I watched it, and you know what? It wasn't that scary, except for some points. Okay. Yeah, I liked it. I don't like it as much as I did. I know that's kind of bearing the lead, but more on that later.
Lee?
I consider it like not a horror movie almost. No, watching this again is like slipping into a warm bath or having some mashed potatoes from your grandma. Like this was a big deal, and it's so nice to go back to see the humble beginnings. The series has gone on for so long and become so crazy, and this one is so like quaint by comparison. So it was really nice, and I was like, "Oh, you're exactly how I remember you." No spoiler.
It's really the Fast and the Furious of horror, right?
That is exactly what I was just about to say. I was like, the humble beginnings, which then lead to superheroes with cars. Like, yes, this is such a drastic extreme from where this movie, goes and ends, honestly, to where the franchise continues through its, 5 sequels or what have you.
Oh my God.
And
7.
like 7, my Christ. But here,
oh my God.
But here we are to talk about the first one. So I did enjoy this one. I saw this one theatrically when it came out. I was excited. I was amped up for it then. I was like, oh shit, this will be great. Was not big into the video games per se. I thought they were annoying, the controls wise. I got frustrated. I'm more of a guy who likes to shoot things in the face, not conserve my ammo and hide and whatever the fuck bullshit they want you to do.
Right?
But in movie form, I don't have to do any of that. I can just sit back and enjoy. And I did. I think this is a nostalgia treat almost, where if you did not see it then, it might not be as good for you. But I think it's still fun, worth watching, and kind of an endearing Mila Jovovich movie, which she has many that, of course, at the time especially. Who wasn't down for that?
My God. She is also, listen, I'm also in love with her. I'm not just saying my wife because she's attractive. I watched the commentary for this movie when it came out, and at the end, spoilers, no spoilers, she says out loud, "Twat shot," when she falls off the table. She's the coolest chick ever.
It's directed by her husband, so it's not as pervy, right?
Well,
it's
but
wonderful.
They met on this movie, so
so it's super pervy. Got it.
Wait, is this? I thought it was Fifth Element or was that another thing and that was something else?
It's essentially the same movie.
It really depends what you mean.
Could be anything now. Yeah.
Actually, I think the director of Fifth Element is a lot more of a pervert than Paul W.S. Anderson is. So there is that.
Well, nice.
I heard something was weird happened there too. So I don't know many things. I hear things. I know nothing.
Aaron is our expert on the panel. But all right, that I think around the board here, everyone says this is a decent enough movie. You can check it out. We're about to go into spoilers and completely ruin it. So if you've seen it or don't care, falls over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, so here we are for the spoilers of Resident Evil. I'm going to start off with the Johns here. Boys, let me hear your spoiler-filled thoughts.
John, you go first.
Okay.
Let me hear your thoughts. Pass.
Movie. So yeah, Resident Evil. You have to talk about it and start with who directed it. Paul W.S. Anderson, young guy. He directed a film called The Event Horizon, and you could see a lot of that in here. Did he get any better at animating CGI water bottles? Fuck no. No, it's still terrible. It's the same kind of shit that he was doing in the mid-90s in Event Horizon that he got wrong, he does in here. However, this is, like Stefan said, a straight-up action film, or maybe Lee said, but, straight-up action film. This does the worst things that horror movies do. And it really shouldn't, because Resident Evil, you think of Resident Evil, it's the inevitability that really gets you and it really scares you, because zombies are supposed to be, like, if you've watched The Walking Dead, like I have ad nauseum, zombies are supposed to be pretty easy to put down. You're supposed to knock them in the head with a hammer, and then you're supposed to move on, and then get eaten by like 10 more. The problem with Resident Evil zombies, and which they did really well with carrying it over from the video games to the movie, is they just felt so goddamn impervious. They never feel weak. It feels like one is a chore to finally put down. Until later when they find out some movie magic.
Until the plot kicks in.
Exactly. Then they're like, oh, this little English girl's just like, you just need to sever the spinal cord. And then
do the thing. Haven't you ever seen a zombie movie before?
How do you kill them?
Severing the top of the spinal column or massive trauma to the brain are the most effective methods.
You mean shoot them in the head?
You've got to bury their heads in your crotches and do a slight twist, and then their neck breaks.
And then Paul W.S. Anderson's just like, oh, I have another reason to show my wife's crotch? Fuck yeah, let's go.
Definitely. Now, you bring up Event Horizon, which I think is definitely appropriate, but I would say we should swing in from his chops in the video game market in Mortal Kombat.
Let's dance.
Three Musketeers.
So you video game movie to video game movie. I think that
absolutely.
that definitely builds up his I got some credit here. I made this movie that people love. I could do that again. And I will say this was well received. I actually didn't look what the budget was, but I remember everyone saying how awesome this was, and the fact that they made 7 other movies, you will assume that they're making a little bit of money here.
I feel like this kind of defined the genre or something like that.
My jaw just dropped. Literally, budget was $288 million, which is astronomical. No one should have given Paul W.S. Anderson that much money, but it made $1.2 billion. Holy
my
shit.
God.
A little bit of money.
A little bit.
That's crazy.
So
that's international.
Is that because the game franchise had that much fan base? Or did
I will cut to John saying "twat shot" one more time. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Lee.
Or was it?
No. It was because everyone was like, "Are they ever going to make a good video game movie?" And people were like, "It didn't suck. It didn't suck." And everyone freaked out and went to the theater. Yeah.
But
Well,
Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
People think that sucks. People think Super Mario Brothers sucks. People are like idiots.
God.
No, see, I think another thing going on with this movie is they tapped into a huge market, which is the zombie fan genre. Like the whole you've got, and there'll be the whole debate over shamblers and rage zombies, and these are ragers, all right? Let's be honest, they're rage zombies because it's a T virus. It's doing all the weird things. They're reanimated, and they have
shamble with a pep in their step.
All they have is the
They're on
need to
steroids.
feed, and ultimately it's like you crossed a video game with basically one of the most popular female actresses of the time. And
You know how it is, bump into each other, sparks happen. Yeah, she knows it's a multiplex. Yeah, anyway, we're in love.
the early 2000s, and you tapped into the zombie apocalypse fan base, which was you've already got like the zombie survival guide has been published at this point. People are kind of getting into that prepper survivalist mode in the real world, and they see this movie and it's like there's zombies, and then it's an action film, and I think they hit enough additional markets. Like you didn't just go after the gamers, you had a couple other factors coming in, and the movie wasn't bad. So there's that too, and kind of to a counterpoint to John bashing the CGI in this one. I'm not gonna give this one as knock the CGI on this one as much as maybe some of the issues in Event Horizon. And Lord knows, oh my God, Lord knows, this CGI came a long way from what we've seen in the late 90s, mid 90s. Like John and I, we've reviewed a few movies that had some.
But did it though? Some scenes really did it though.
Some scenes, you know what? The laser scene was easy. That worked. All you need is a laser beam, and then
fantastic.
That was great.
No, laser scene is one of the best scenes in the movie. We're not sharing that scene. That thing that has no business in existing at all is one of the best scenes in the movie. Like,
Absolutely.
honestly, almost all the defense things. So, like, this is a pet peeve me and Lee have a lot of movies where when like, the AI goes mad and it does a thing where you're like, okay, it's killing everybody. But everything the AI does has to be something that is programmed that it is able to do. So why would you ever have these laser grid death things and these corridors?
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I was going to give it a lot of credit, because it kills them with like elevators.
Oh my god.
And like the halon system, whatever, like the fire suppression system.
Yeah.
It turns on the sprinklers.
Noxious gas that comes out of the shower.
A nerve gas was released into the house.
And randomly in the train.
Dogs?
That's the mansion's defense system. And a pack of dogs.
I am aware of the defense system, but what if you're making a defense system? Why would you be like, we need to knock them out for a little while? And how about something? Can we get a gas that has a side effect of memory loss? Yeah, that would be perfect. And then they'll wake up in a few hours.
Why would you pick that gas?
But if anyone is in that hallway, they're getting laser screwed. Like,
yeah, like in a brutal way.
Yeah.
And I thought that a mistake in that scene, and I will point out the mistakes when I remember them, is that the gentleman that got his hand cut off.
Yeah, I am trying. Stay conscious. You're going into shock. Stay awake.
So he freaks out, passes out, and is presumed dead now. But he should not be dead. He should be alive, because the laser grid network started after his body. Because if you remember, the big duffel bag they have, with all the tools that they needed, which is roughly body size, is not cut to shit. So that guy should be alive.
I was going to point that out as a mistake, that the duffel bag is like right in the path of either the low laser or the grid laser. And
I believe the low laser is right above it, and then it goes. And it turns to the cheese grater thing right after the guy's body and that bag.
I need to go back.
No one went back for Brad. Brad's still down there to this day, just like, guys, hey.
And you know what? You almost want him to come back, because that other fucker who got stuck on like the little ledge there, he comes back. You're like, how the fuck did he come back?
Cap?
But honestly, if anybody was in a decent position and had a knife, they would only be coming at him one by one and relatively slowly. He probably could kill everyone in that room, much like he's the dude with the hammer in fucking Walking Dead.
You're gonna have to work for your meal.
Like it could definitely be a thing.
He shouts, "You can't kill them all!" And then he goes, "But I can," and has his little knife and just sits there doing it one after the other.
Why did you have to ruin the laser scene for me, man? Now I'm like, oh.
I'll ruin every scene. Give me time.
I didn't want to say
such
that.
a big send-off.
Yeah.
They gave such a big send-off to that one guy. Like 45 minutes of saying goodbye and saying that guy's name, which I can't remember. So that means he's such a memorable character.
You
just
mean
to
the
get his
squad
face,
leader?
like, yeah, just for the horrible CGI monster, just to like pick him up like a red shirt, like a chump, and out of the movie.
He had to die. I thought if ever there was a unceremonious death, it was Michelle Rodriguez, and I was like, oh come on, it would have
she
been so
dies
much
for like
nicer.
an hour. What do you mean?
No, but I mean it's almost unjustified. Like I think you could have made that a lot more fun. Like you could have, I don't know. She could have had the green shot in her, and that fended off everything, and she's able to.
Could have had him
kiss.
kiss. She says, "I could kiss you," and I'm sitting there. I'm 15. I'm like, oh my god, do it.
I don't think I've seen the other movies since they came out, but isn't Michelle Rodriguez in some of the other ones?
She comes back.
Yeah.
We also cloned your girlfriend. She's
Yeah.
like, whoa, listen, that was. I thought she was dying. I'm married to the
There's so many chunks taken out of Michelle Rodriguez during the entire runtime of this, and then she took a bullet in the forehead, but then she pops up. Are you surprised to see me? Well, fucking yeah.
There's continuity and stuff.
No. So
honestly, no, I'm not. The paycheck was
I
in it.
I was gonna say earlier, I think that they unintentionally like defined the genre. I went and double checked. Underworld is right after this, and then Fast and Furious kind of does the same thing, but this was the version that was like the tough chick version of this, and they were just like, wait, we got him, reel them in, keep making it, make 10, direct to video, who cares? Yes, we got him, and like I was very happy with that. They're all guilty pleasure movies that I like, and all these types of series.
Yeah, it's fun action bullshit. It's all I need.
Isn't Michelle Rodriguez one of those actors where her character routinely is killed off in the movies that she's in? Like she dies.
It happened in Fast and
Avatar.
Furious. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my connective tissue between my point and his point.
There, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yes.
Like,
She is a huge Resident Evil fan, though. I read something that said like when they saw that like the game was optioned to make a movie, her agent like immediately contacted them. Michelle Rodriguez would like to be in this movie, and they're like, yeah, we would like to have her. Come on.
He's like, yes, whatever. Oh my
This
God.
movie does that horrible thing where they take a beloved franchise that's already established and has characters that people like. People know and like Leon Kennedy and Ada Wong and Redfield and all those people, right? And so they're like, oh, we have all this like big pool of characters. No. We're gonna introduce this other person and this other person, this like media guy that gets his sister killed. Isn't that fun, everyone? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I hate like the new Mortal Kombat movie did that. Who's Cole?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Like, give me Scorpion, give me Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage isn't in this movie because this fuck has to be in here. Are you kidding me? Like,
I didn't see that movie, and now I never will.
I
That's my
do hear you.
recommendation.
That stuff is bullshit. And like while this movie, this game franchise is not something that I'm beloved with, for me it's just like, okay, I need more bodies because I need more kills, I need more things.
Sure.
Just do it. And like that's all well and good and fine. And as not being a purist, I was like, nah, they did a pretty decent job in this as a video game adaptation to a video game I don't know.
Close enough for me.
They didn't even know the video game they were adapting, though, because the video game you're adapting is the slowest of burns. It's more about like resource, like getting your resources and really keeping them. Like you really don't shoot anything in Resident Evil 2. You run away. Like that's the point. Everything is inevitable. If you're just gonna sit there and shoot things like it's I don't know, Code whatever video game, I don't know video games anymore, Battlefield Star, then you're gonna get your ass eaten.
Oh, no,
and not in a good way.
Liberty Mission. That's what
John, you sound like me talking about movies. What happened?
Old man talking about
like,
video games.
Everything came together, right? The zombie fad and this action fad, like all these different series is literally, they're like, did you hear that? What's that? Oh my God. And then like, dum, 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 dum. This music starts playing and they're like, go. And this is, but it's not like, it's not a military action. It's like a weird paranormal, supernatural / tough chick / slow-mo, kick the thing, like awesome.
Oh,
whatever.
that bitch
I want to say 90.
She bit me, man. She took a chunk clean right out of me.
Yes. Or the
Yeah, I
one-liners
love
and like,
that.
oh,
That's
hurry up,
so funny
blah,
is
blah,
you would look at these people like they're probably the best of the best of the best, like top tier, whatever money could throw at. We got these soldiers, and
Taking
they're
foot
just
shots.
like body shot, foot, body, body. accidentally gets ahead. Oh, one died.
They look the like crispest when they're just running down the stairs and nothing's happening, and they're just like taking turns flanking the steps going down. And I was like, I got some moves. I feel confident with them. And then they all just die at once later. Yeah.
Enter zombie. Oh.
I do love the setup where they're like Umbrella, this corporation that is in 9 out of 10 homes and runs everything. And I'm like, Amazon.
I was to say they used to sell books, and then for some reason they started delivering things to your house, and we were all just like, all right, I'll install this app. I don't know.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos is getting all buffed to be final boss. You know how it goes.
He throws his sunglasses.
They're very stealthy too, because like there's no like besides the first scene, like the reveal, oh shit, there's zombies with that one girl in the lab coat that just keeps popping up during the entire movie. But the rest of the time they're like in the sewers and they're like, coast is clear, cool, boom, like all of the zombies.
Keep moving.
Like there wasn't that many people in this underground facility where they're always grouping. It's always lunchtime. Like everyone is always in one spot at one time.
This facility is ludicrous. So like let's just picture this thing. It is something where you come down this one shaft, and it seems to be, they're positing that it is as wide as maybe 2 elevator shafts are what sends you like a mile or whatever up to the Raccoon City. Now below that mile-long tube that is like, let's say generously 20 by 10 or something, you have like an upside down pyramid of the world here where I don't even know how the materials would get down there, let alone how do you even start something like that? All right, we're going to dig, and now dig out and keep digging out. And we're going to keep doing this thing and make this thing like, it just seems like such a thing where like, how does no one notice this? Do you understand when you are excavating a site that large, how much dirt is coming up out of that fucking hole? It's absolutely crazy.
This just shows the power and the omnipotence of Umbrella.
I can answer this one. This is easy. First, they had to start at the mansion, and then they burrowed their way in, and then they shipped all the dirt out, and they made a little garden. They made some statues.
Raccoon City, nearest urban center. The mansion where we found you and through which we gained access to the train, which in turn brought us to the hive.
They put up a little mountain, and it was out in the country, so nobody, no one in Raccoon City is gonna like, oh, some rich person's being eccentric. Okay, fine,
They made a train to drive them to the emergency hideout house.
It's like,
why would there be a train?
It just makes sense. You want the train to ferry all the dirt out because you're digging the hole.
They drive that train for minutes.
When they're doing the prison break, and he has to like get rid of all the dirt like it's Alcatraz. It's like Leslie Nielsen, and he's like tapping his. Foot, and he's like playing baseball. And he taps his foot. And it's just this giant mound of dirt.
It's the same architects and the same labor staff that they used in Rise of Skywalker, where Liev, Palpatine was on this other undisclosed planet, and out of nowhere, all of these Star Destroyers come out of the ocean.
The might of the final order will soon be ready.
Underground. Who built those? Who the fuck knows? It's the same people that build these, the hive, I guess.
More metal than there is on Earth, just building ships.
I really enjoyed that tour of it though, because the low-grade CG like fits and still holds up to me, because it's like, look at this animatic of like a schematical thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's choice.
I also like the HUDs because they're very video gamey. They fucking suck, but something about doing the little boxes around people and
Who's the Red Queen?
State-of-the-art artificial intelligence. She's the computer that controls the hive.
having them like move with them made it like click for me, and I was like, yes. And it also shows like he's got this type of gun and this much body armor and helmet. Yes, no, it's this super dumb. There's little spinning like gifs and stuff. They were like freeze frame. They're like awful, but I was like, delicious.
Great,
like, yes,
though.
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yes,
It looks
I
a
was
lot
really
like
into
the
it.
autofocus setting on a camera now, though, where it's like boxes that are weird,
Like the heads up. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
Right.
no, I could see that being a thing. Like, I think that is better than a lot of shit I see now, where I'm like, oh, that's just a plug-in. They all use the same bullshit thing now.
Yes,
So
it didn't
I
have
like
like the
that.
Iron Man like stretch thing or anything like that.
No.
They did their own thing, so I can't compare it to something better to say like this is old, this sucks. They have better now. It was so unique and like stylized. I was like, yeah, thumbs up.
And the setting really does work. It's very claustrophobic. I like how it's different. Yes, it's like an office building with like corridors and stuff, but you get a sewer system. You get which I don't understand. That far underground. But we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. But you would think they would come up with some kind of super high-tech bidet thing that would just suck the
It
poop
just
right
goes
out
to
of
the core of the earth at that point and just sizzles away.
Just exactly. The settings are really cool. Like you have a little water level. It felt video
Set
gamey
pieces,
in the fact where the set
yeah.
pieces felt like different levels. It always had a ramp up in tension, and the actual practical effects and the makeup. The zombies looked great in this.
Yeah. That cryogenic room is the worst setting of the whole movie because you're like, okay, this is $1 billion, like $1 billion facility, and you're like, okay, they wouldn't ergonomically design this so that the ducts would be under the flooring. You're telling me that each experiment that they put into one of these things, they have to be like, oh, go over the pipes, we got this.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
That's not how anything works. There'd be a
I'm about Dining Hall
Yeah.
B, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt like something out of Aliens or like like a Quaker Doomscape kind of thing. It was not for a facility that is looking so pristine and neat and tidy. We're a laboratory facility. We're doing state-of-the-art technology and this and that. Don't go to the basement.
Yeah. These people would definitely do like a raised floor with and they would like zip tie all the cables together, and it would be very orderly.
It's as bad as when you have a spaceship with dripping water. I'm like, wait a minute, what? There's enough fucking extra water? You're dripping water? What the fuck is that? You're in space, you bitch.
But even the last the end stinger. I mean, yes, we get a shotgun cock at the end, but I can't talk too much shit about it. It is an action film. Quiet Place did it, so I guess that it's okay for this. But the pull-out crane shot of Raccoon City, like they did a lot of cool stuff. Like the settings were great, the costumes are great, all of the fundamentals were good. This was paced really well. I don't feel like this overstayed its welcome at all.
I did enjoy the ending, the way they basically set up their sequel. They're like, they didn't even leave a hanging chad. There's like, by the way, here's the start to the next movie. Wait for it. And I
was so fucking jazzed at that ending.
Oh, totally.
I'm in theaters.
Got it, and I'm like,
I think I ripped the arms off my chair. I was like, I have to wait how long for this? I'll wait right here.
Yeah. No, but honestly, it still would have worked even if it would have all failed, because you would have gone and played the games maybe and been I'm just doing other scenarios now. I'm shooting, it's all whatever, right?
You know what other movie had a great ending like that set up the next movie though? Transformers, and look what happened. So this was a very Transformers end stinger, and I'm like, I could see why I fell for it then, but I could see why I hate this now.
This is a better version of the Ghosts of Mars ending.
Let's just kick some ass.
It's what we do best.
And it actually got sequels. That's what that is. This movie has, when you said claustrophobic, the first thing I thought of is that bit when the lady's head is in the outside the elevator.
Oh
and
my god!
It goes all the way to the bottom, and you're like,
Great
oh
scene.
shit! And she doesn't die. You're like, oh okay, tension release.
Yeah.
She might be a main character. We'll see what happens. And then. Oh god!
And that one guy, the guy that gets the coffee poured on him too, he seems like they did a great, that opening
Yes.
was great.
Collected at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Some people.
Right. You spend just the right amount of time with them, because I was like, wow, they spent a lot of time there. It's like barely 5 minutes, but they establish everything so that when you come back later, you really feel like, well, now we're in the aftermath. All the different zombies you can pick out. Oh, it's like the doctor who was like, there's no fire, turn it off. And
The code doesn't work!
No fire! What's wrong with you?
This water isn't going anywhere!
What?
It's a sealed room!
this guy's over here, and here's the guy with the axe. I remember that. Like everything is all set up. It's very nice. I'm like, word. Yeah.
It's fantastic. The thing I do hate, and I think you could pull right out of the movie, is I don't need her to be in on some conspiracy.
I was your sister's contact.
I don't need there to be a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I almost don't need to know what happened. Like,
yeah,
all that part, I'm like, it doesn't really add anything to me. The betrayal of her fake husband who she does it with or whatever, like, being like, I'm gonna do this for you in some weird thing. I'm like, that doesn't add anything to the movie for me.
Money's out there, waiting. You wouldn't believe how much.
Is that how you thought all my dreams were gonna come true?
Personally, I think you could have taken those, like, collective 6 minutes or whatever and just give me more action. Like, give me some more bullshit. Do something.
Especially with the full context in the character. I attempted to watch a couple of the sequels, and there's really nothing. Like, the character of Alice is a little bit, that kind of gunslinger mentality. She has a backstory, but it's more about just she is this specimen that's going to take care of this shit. And so we didn't need all that, like, I'm a double agent, and then you got all the horrible, like, choppy, slow-mo,
I can help you get the virus. I have access to security codes, surveillance plans, the works.
Voiceover, flashbacks that Paul, W.S. Anderson loves so much, but
she barely has a story, though. You don't know her name until the closing credits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you didn't play the game, you don't know that's Alice. Like,
right.
They don't ever say, oh, Alice, because she starts off with amnesia, not wearing a name tag or something, and then the movie ends where her memory is just kind of coming back. We don't ever hear Alice. It's almost brilliant. Or poor writing.
I really liked how she immediately tries to write the same thing next to the note.
Yeah.
Like her training kicks in of like, did I write this? Wait a minute, where am I? And it starts doing stuff. But then like there's like 3 other quote unquote like setups and clues until someone just says, they probably lost their memory. It's like very obvious and very dumb. I think it's clear when the guy's like, I don't know who I am, that they've lost their memory. We don't need to know why or whatever. Those flashbacks, the choppy frame rate is so funny because I'm like, did you just switch to digital? And you were like, wait, when you slow it down, it looks like such shit. And they're like, we didn't film it in a high enough frame rate. We can't do it. And you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And it's like,
make them flashbacks. Yeah,
like,
it'll make sense.
Make it blurry. Let's start cranking the knobs. We got to distract them, change, zoom in. I don't know. Ugh, it looks awful.
We need filler
of the time. Yeah, it sucks.
Fill it with soft light. It'll be fine. I love the property of Umbrella Corporation, whatever the fuck it's called, on the ring. I thought that was a cool thing. If they would have waited longer to explain that whole business, that would have been fun too. Like part of that whole let the audience discover something, I think could have been a little bit better. But overall, I don't hate too much of that kind of stuff. I think that's okay. Do you have a best worst moments in this movie,
Johnny?
Best worst moments.
What stands out that we have not covered that you want to add?
I really like, you touched on it with the amnesia thing. I know it was probably like a writer's room like revelation, and they have amnesia, and then because it's nowhere in the game, it's nowhere in the
strip in the book.
Yeah, it adds an element of. You could really kind of jump into that POV character and find out things with them, which I enjoy. And sometimes, it is a bit of a trope, but in this certain instance, with this much of a ticking clock element to it, I think it works really well. It just adds that extra layer of tension where it's just like, in certain games, it's like, you have to go eat. And it's like, oh, what a pain in the ass. I don't want to have to make my, The Witcher go eat or whatever. I just forage for 4 days anyways. And now I have to feed this fucker. It's just like, no, this person is finding out the most hellish situation on the face of the planet, but we find out that this person is capable of it because they have this training and all these gifts and whatnot. So it works in the context of this story really well.
John?
I wish they spread the dogs out more.
Oh yeah, there's only dogs.
Seriously, you've got. pack of Dobermans they're just gonna hang out in the kennel. They're not gonna go wandering about. Like,
well, they're
those could have
clearly
been...
magic because they seemingly bit holes through the cages to rip off their skin, and then they pick the locks and open the doors.
Right. And they can jump through the glass too, but they chose to like kind of stay confined in their own space. I'm surprised we didn't. I wanted to see those a little more. I guess we're talking about like our likes and dislikes. Well, and also if I have to gig any CGI, it's the flaming body of the end boss at the end. I mean,
yes, this liquor was very hit and miss.
Were you not entertained?
if I gotta gig the CGI anything, it's got to be that one at the end. It's like. At that point, the movie's practically over. I'm like, it's fine.
I wish they were Shih Tzus. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're just waiting for that battering ram. You're like, oh, there's like a bunch of hanging pipes on a string. They're gonna use that for something.
I think the guy, the fake husband getting mauled by the horrible CGI monster, that was fun.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm missing you already. The nice little haha.
Yeah.
I'm missing you already.
Yeah.
His eyes were cool when he turned.
Now it's fed on fresh DNA.
That was a right amount of cheese. Yeah.
Why does fresh DNA make it turn to a bigger dog?
Now that it has fed on fresh DNA, it will mutate.
Shouldn't it become more human?
And in that sense, why hasn't everything else gone that's fresh, fed on fresh DNA, or was it all not?
I think because that thing is a like special thing. Like the other things are zombies. They don't get mutation powers or whatever.
Okay, they aren't special zombies.
No.
They're
experiment.
Zombies. They weren't the custom craft brew zombie that busted out of the chamber and climbed through the walls.
Yeah.
One of the hive's early experiments, produced by injecting the T virus directly into living tissue. The results were unstable.
How about you, Lee?
No, we've covered everything. Because I was just saying too, like that was very hit and miss as the CG goes. I remember there's one scene where he looks good, and I'm like, oh, I must have misremembered this. And then it's like,
what the fuck was that?
Crawling on the wall and doing something, and I'm like, oh no, what's happening?
Oh my god.
This lighting is completely wrong. It's totally not there. It's amazing.
They put the overlay of the nail marks on the wall. It's like, no, it still looks like shit.
They're just copying and pasting the same like hole in the wall.
I did kind of like how it was tearing through the sides of the train at the end. Like that was that.
But it was all over the train. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And what made the holes in the fence in the very beginning of the train? Nothing seemed to have already escaped at that point. Yet something was already in the train. I was like, what was that? I hate when you just throw these misdirection stupid bullshit. Something I like that we didn't really talk about was the Red Queen.
Yes. Yeah.
The Red Queen, I think, was fantastic. That you're all gonna die down here.
You're all going to die down here.
Was the best part of the trailer. I was like, this is awesome. She's like the good guy, but kind of portrayed as the bad guy, because really, she's just like a redemption this virus.
No, because like we're so used to that plot of like, I've just been told to like avoid the infection, so I'll kill everyone. But she's actually smarter than that. Alice realizes it. She's like, nope, we're gonna go back and reboot her, and we're gonna do this. And it's a great moment that subverts your expectations. There, it's dope.
The first act of this movie feels like the movie Cube, if like there was a hologram telling them,
that's
messing with
wrong.
them, basically.
Where there's a hologram who's like, prime numbers. Trying to
but she's telling them the wrong thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what?
When Alice realizes her like badass attitude in that dog fight, and she does that like spinning kick dog like. I'm like, all right.
That's a trailer moment too, I think, right? When
Yeah,
like,
and that lends more
oh,
towards
yeah.
the like zombies are easy to kill when they have to be. She just like throws one to a cabinet. It's like, I'm dead.
Yeah, yeah. Give it his head.
No.
She killed him with her just badassery. Just her presence alone, destroyed that zombie.
Well, she hit him so many times, she like knocked his thing loose.
Lee, your camera went off.
I'm just gonna seamlessly act like that never happened. It's
Is
totally
Mila
fine.
Jovovich around? She just knocked out Lee's camera.
All right. She's
The
slow
roundhouse
motion
kick.
fun and kicked it and everything. It's perfect. Hello. What's up? I'm back.
The only thing I think that could have made this movie better was originally they wanted Sarah Michelle Gellar to play Alice, and I think that would have been awesome.
But she's really good
at
at
this
killing
time.
vampires. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
she's multi-dimensional.
I
She
like
can
to
kill anything.
diversify, yeah.
She
I don't
fights
like when people
Japanese
reuse people.
monsters sometimes.
Yeah,
she,
yeah.
she could do all this stuff. I think that would have been really fun. But overall, I enjoyed this movie. I would give this a thumbs up. I think you could watch this for more than the nostalgia. I think this is just a fun, popcorn idiot kind of movie.
Yes.
What about you guys?
Yeah. Popcorn idiot. I like that.
I would give it one of these, right in the middle. It's just a fun action movie. It's one of those. It's Fast and the Furious with zombies, and if that sounds cool, which it should to a lot of people, then this is your jam. It's not, a Resident Evil film. Really, it shoehorns some things from the game in there. Because it contractually has to, but for the most part, it's not that. It's an origin story that sets up the rest of the franchise, which you could completely skip. This is the best of what goes on here. So, and it's got a lot of music by Marilyn Manson in it. So,
I was gonna make fun of it and say it sounds like Marilyn Manson sometimes. So speaking of music, I'm gonna go out on like a limb here and use an analogy where I think, because this is so old now, like you've probably seen it, you should see it for its place in history. I think more than anything else, because I think this is like when you like a song and like your dad's like, this is just a rip off of this. You gotta go. Jethro Tull was the original, and then you listen to it and like some kids are like, oh, this is amazing, and some kids are like, okay, I see what you're saying, Dad, but like it's this is old. Like this is boring. I can't do this. I need a movie that like smacks me in the face every 10 seconds with something. So I think it'll be hit and miss for like a new generation of people. Yeah. But for its place in history to see like where we got all this other crazy. There's 1,000 Alices running around on the ceiling or. Something like to see where this started is so interesting that you should go back, and it is worth it. It is not like garbage. You should go check it out because it holds up.
Definitely. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us. Tell the people once again where they can find you.
Thank you, both gentlemen, for having us. You could find us on the YouTubes, on the They Said We Said YouTube channel. Check us out where we host the Cult of Films, where we talk about your favorite non-mainstream movies, rather. And you might be able to see these gentlemen join us on an episode, maybe video game related, either before this or after this or whenever we decide to release these. Check us out on Twitter. I'm at John the Host, and you can follow us at the Cult of Films.
And then I'm.
Do you talk too, or is he just how does this work?
You gotta pull the string.
Okay, I'll be I'll be on Cult of Films with John, talking about all manner of movies. Usually ones that bomb at the box office, and that's why we love them, and for better or worse. And then you can find me on Twitter at CMDR_Hamilton. It's fine.
So thanks again for having us, guys.
Finally. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's our thoughts on this. Until next time, don't die in a fire. Fuck off.
He's the master, people.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
I'm not dead yet.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition. competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.